Yeehaw, brother! If there ain't a better time to day drink and question what day it is other than if the world can't decide if it's open or closed. Like, we're kind of open, but not really, unless you're allowed to, or maybe you're not.
Well, the state is open, but your county may not be, unless it is.
We're not sure. Here's a company document that says whereas more times than a high school girl says like. And in this time, we've learned things about ourselves, and we've learned things about cars that we never really knew before.
Today I'm going to show how to correctly change oil in a modern car.
To be honest, it has us feeling big brain mode, and we thought we'd oblige you with another car that you may not thought you needed. Until now. I'm Alex at.fi on Instagram, and today we're going to be talking about a car that's had an on and off relationship with staying in production. A car that's caused all other cars to have a weight complex and has littered Facebook forums with reused jokes you'd find carved in the bathroom wall. A car that could and should be rightfully feared when it comes to burnouts per smile. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the one, the only. We're going to talk about you wanting to own a Dodge Challenger. And if this is your first time watching a Fitment Industries video,
Hola.
that's hello in Spanish. Please don't forget to subscribe so we can keep making banging videos like this. I promise we're a low commitment channel, try saying that, and our videos are all about cars and stuff. If you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension for your newly acquired Dodge Challenger or otherwise, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com, where we have just about everything your little tiny heart could possibly imagine. The good old Dodge Challenger hit production way back in 1969 as its own car, but was previously used actually as like a value version of a full-size Coronet Silver Challenger, which is a badass Batmobile that has a stronger chin line than George Clooney. If you've seen it, you know it, it's an awesome car. But the Dodge Challenger initially came to the game a few years later in regards to the pony car race, but since it still had the Charger at the time, Dodge really didn't think it needed this car right away. But then they realized that there was money to be made in a higher end pony car version, and the car was born. It carried plenty of similarities to compete with the Mercury Cougar at the time, which again was a fancy muscle car for the wealthier market. Designed by the same man who did the exterior design of the '66 Dodge Charger, the Challenger was an incredibly good looking car that people did love. I mean, if you could afford it, it was a good looking car. It came in a million trims, but because the pony car segment was already declining of the early 70s and late 60s because of the EPA, it didn't really last that long. It was about 5 years of fun before Dodge stopped production and the Challenger took its first "it's not you, it's me" moment. The craziest thing with Dodge though, and why middle-aged men at Burger King car shows can talk your ear off about them, is because of how many trims and styles and designs and special editions and race versions and just quirky things this car had. Japanese over trimming had nothing to compete with when you look at first-gen Challengers. The second generation returned in 1978 and was a rebadged variant of the Mitsubishi Galant Coupe. It had a 1.6-liter inline-4 and a 2.6-liter inline-4. We're not gonna talk about that one too much, okay? But then the Dodge Challenger went on another social media break for a few decades, because thank God it did. The second generation is not much of what we would really want to chat about. The one that we remember and the one that we love, the Challenger came back in a way that most people like of today now know it as. In 2007, the good old Challenger, Bertha, the Shania Twain, the big, wide, thick girl came back to the scene. And the Challenger came back strutting stuff in the mid-2000s and hasn't left yet.
It came in a 3.5 liter, 3.6 liter, 5.7 liter, 6.1 liter, 6.4 liter, came in 8 speeds, 6 speeds, maybe even a 5-speed in there. It had black stripes, blue stripes, big noses, small noses, wide flares, narrow flares, heated seats, and dash things. I mean, you could literally make a Dr. Seuss book out of how many things this car had. This thing had more Mercedes parts than Mercedes. Not really, but kind of. It had W220 control arms, it had W211 suspension rears, it had an 8-inch screen that feels like a first-gen touchscreen phone that you had in middle school, but it came back at the perfect time. And either way, this car was a big deal. It was big because it carried design cues of the first generation. It was big, it was bulky, it was wide, and it was a quick as for what it offered. And while the Challenger came in 9 million trims, the one that really stuck out in the beginning days was the SRT8, for the sake that it had a 6.1 liter in the beginning and then optionally went up to a 6.4 liter V8.
with its facelift in 2011. The car now has become a bargain find for those wanting a big old Mopar or no car, baby. I don't know if people still say that. And since it was doing well with town and countries, Dodge kept double downing with the Challenger and pretty much everything else in its lineup. The thing had more trims than jokes on the internet, and it didn't matter. You could get these cars and could be either an 18-year-old that got their first car with a base model interior or a 45-year-old that was able to get their first midlife crisis buy. Because of the collaboration with Mercedes through Daimler, the sharing of resources allowed the car to be built without too much overhead, which kept costs down. Lower costs, plus more trims because of shared parts equals more volume, which makes a happy Dodge. Now, in 2015, Dodge would relieve the SRT-8 and introduce the good old Hellcat, the car that probably most people know the Challenger and the Charger and all that sort of stuff around now. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever actually driven one of these cars before, but let me tell you, they are fun as okay? There's 707 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque, and I want to yell, I want to get like that sort of excited, but I won't yell about the fact that they took a headlight out just to get more air inside the engine, or the fact that they had 2 key fobs, because why the hell not? A 10-second quarter mile and a front end that looks like it would push you over on the train track. The car was and is nuts. And by all intensive purposes, it's a car that loves to make you smile. This thing is insane. Like, why? And if that ain't enough, they even made a Demon. It's got whack fitment a little bit, but it's a goddamn 840 horse, 770 foot-pounds of torque, came without a passenger seat. You can buy for $1 and was Dodge's pretty much way of saying, F you, we do what we want to. It had NT05Rs, which were barely road legal and made just about every domestic owner cry when Dodge introduced this thing. And everybody found a reason to not like it, but it was fantastic. And not many were made, but hot dog, was it gnarly. The thing did wheelies. Wheelies, stock, wheelies. Nowadays, people are seeing these Challengers of all sizes and trims pop up for a pretty good deal, and has people wondering and saying to themselves, well, do you think people would care? But we're not here to talk about the history of these cars. We're here about talking about you wanting to own one of these high horsepower, boot collecting, buckle pants wearing things. Just so excited, I love this car. So you want a Dodge Challenger. Well, set down your Cheetos and grab your favorite scale, because we're about to talk about what this mega bud of a car is actually like to own. The first and second generation Dodge Challengers is pretty limited in terms of what people currently are doing. And to be honest, not many people want to talk about the second gen at all, because look at it. Kind of like that really awkward middle school phase. Justin Bieber hair. We were all there once. The third generation is where we're spending our time. The third generation is a fantastic car to snag if you want something that's big, wide, and can do some gnarly burnouts. And it isn't too bad on the pocketbook. It's a domestic, which means not many people initially jumped into them, but that's recently changed from the automotive younger perspective. The reason why it made a fantastic cruising car is because it's so comfortable. It has tons of space, and since it's a hammy, they sound pretty dang good with some work. Most people opt for the H&R lowering springs or airlift air suspension. Since the car is big and wide, they always look good on the ground, but the lowering springs is an extremely affordable way to lower the car without breaking the bank. Staggered setups are a must on this car, with most people running at the minimum 20-inch wheels, all the way up to 22s, but I think that's a little excessive. 20 by 10 and 20 by 11 is pretty solid, and meaty setups are a must, which usually end up being Nitto tires, because they look like they would hack into your RuneScape account. If you want to own one of these cars, there's a few other things to keep in mind. Uno, it's still a Dodge and shared as many humanly parts as possible with other manufacturers so that they can make the car more affordable, AKA cheaper. And the car can feel a bit plastic. The center entertainment can get dated if you look close enough, and if you actually look at the interior, you'll start to see where they cut corners to make the car more affordable. If you're okay with a turnstock that feels like it came out of a van, then that's fine, but for some people, it isn't. Most of the money here was put into the motor, trans, and just overall exterior styling. Reliability is pretty decent, but not terrible in any way that would probably make you get scared. You're just gonna wanna always make sure that the maintenance was done before you buy. To us, the Dodge Challenger is a testament to what the car should stand for. The rest of the world has moved to alternate sources of power, lightness, and technology to squeeze as much as they can without getting ostracized by someone that advocates not cutting lawn, okay? Dodge just doesn't do that with this car, and they haven't since they released the third generation. It makes me so happy. It doesn't claim to be some sort of new gen thing. It's just a big, badass car. The upper level trims feature enough horsepower to make you smile, and the 392 Scat Pack is good enough for most people to be happy. The Hellcat is enough to make any enthusiast smile and wave, and pair it with some Velgen or Rohana wheels, lowering springs, and some Nitto tires, and you have yourself a fun car that'll never disappoint, and you'll be able to cruise around in it. Just know you're never gonna get away from the weight jokes, okay? This thing is fat shamed more than my middle school days. It's just a car that doesn't want to be anything else besides itself, and you have to respect that. So what do you think of the Dodge Challenger? Drop your comments below and let us know what you'd like us to talk about next. And of course, if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you later. Peace.